Oh, thank you both for
Okay.
your time today.
Yeah, thank you.
So just to get right into it, I gotta start with Devin because I want to talk to Sonic.
Let's
So
go.
Devin, Sonic means a lot of different things to a lot of different people, but you've actually been him, so you have the kind of inside track. So can you tell me in your mind, what are the key components of being Sonic that you wanted to bring into your performance?
For me, it's kind of about being able to really portray that confidence, that being kind of cool and calm and funny under pressure. Being able to adapt to any kind of situation. Even if Sonic doesn't have a plan, he's still able to be like, okay, we're gonna figure this out. We'll get through this. So to kind of have that sort of that confidence, I feel is something that a lot of people really connect with, and I know I did as a little kid for sure.
Thanks. Logan, so with Sonic Prime, you're adapting a video game into a different medium. That's a big creative undertaking. I'm assuming there's, some collaboration with like Sega while you're making the show. So I was just wondering, like, can you broadly describe that relationship a bit, like creatively, how much of Sonic Prime is you and your team versus, the secret Sonic Council at Sega?
Well, we worked very closely with Sega to develop and produce Sonic Prime, and they've been amazing and super generous partners the entire way. So the story is based on existing mythology from the games, and then we use that as a springboard to launch him on a journey that is completely unexpected and takes you into all kinds of different directions. But it is rooted in that mythology. So fans that are familiar with Sonic that know his legacy will find familiar elements, and a fresh brand new audience will also be able to sign up and join the ride and experience it in different ways with boys, girls, legacy fans, adults, people of all ages. I think will enjoy the ride. It really does stretch Sonic as a character. It takes him to emotional places and adventures that I don't think we've ever seen before. And there's a lot of unexpected twists and turns. It was really important to us that you felt his authenticity from the games, that we portrayed those familiar aspects in a very faithful way so that it does have that truthfulness behind it, but also, takes us in fun directions at the same
All right, this one's for both of you. What was the last book you read?
time.
Uh-oh.
The last book I read was it's called Neil and Me. It's Neil Young's a book written by Neil Young's father, who was an instrumental person in Neil Young's life, and he was responsible for breaking up his family, and a lot of what Neil Young's journey that he went through as a person, as a songwriter, is based around that pivotal experience where his family was broken up as a kid, and his father moved out of his house and he lived with his mom in Winnipeg, and ultimately found his own way through music and his journey. And his father was a writer for many Canadian newspapers, but also Hockey Night in Canada. He's actually in the Hockey Hall of Fame as a writer. So the book is actually written, even though it's autobiographical or biographical, um, he is just a beautiful writer, and it's written almost like a piece of fiction where the detail and description is just so detailed and spot on that it really puts you in the time and the place and the settings. So from somebody who is a storyteller by trade, I really appreciated the way he described the character journey and the settings. It's a pretty amazing book. If you're a Neil Young fan, I highly recommend it.
I wish I had an answer like that. Uh,
You can pass if you can't remember.
so I haven't been able to sit down with a good book in a long while that I can recall, but I can tell you the last thing that I read, which was still a few months back, was Volume 1 of IDW Sonic.
Oh, it's a good
Uh,
choice.
which I did thoroughly enjoy. Rough and Tumble immediately became my favorite characters. But again, I don't have anything quite as deep and thorough as that.
That's all right. Thank you. Um, what was the most fun and difficult parts of the process for you when making Sonic Prime?
You want me to take that one, Devin?
Sure, go for it.
Well, honoring the legacy first and foremost, and ensuring that we had that authenticity. And the Team Sonic at Sega, they examined and analyzed every single detail from eye position to placement of his quills. Everything went up and down to the layers at Sega to ensure that it was on point. And then from there, taking it in new directions that were unfamiliar and at times uncomfortable. And like we've said, we really do stretch him as a character, and he it's a redemption story. He has to clean up his own mess and understand like the things that make Sonic amazing, but also the his Achilles heel and his vulnerability. So it was taking him into those places that were unexplored and a little uncomfortable, but doing it in a way that we felt respected the brand and respected the legacy. And that's just a challenge. And at times you wonder if you're doing the right thing. You're like, can we really do this with Sonic? But I can tell you that Sega, enjoyed the ride, and we're so thankful for their collaboration. And the entire crew really got invested in the production. And with Sonic's 30-year history, there's an access point for everybody on the crew. Whether it was the games or the cartoons or whatever it was, and it was really a love affair from that standpoint. And the collaboration that came from the crew's experience and Sega's collaboration really, I think, made for something that is unique and different, and I think fans are really going to enjoy it.
All right, Devin. And this doesn't have to be just limited to Sonic voices, but was there any kind of like voice or portrayal in the back of your head that you felt like really influenced, how you did your Sonic?
Honestly, it's me kind of drawing upon the entire legacy of the character. I sort of listened to every single one because uh, I've enjoyed either games or cartoons that featured all of these different voices. So that's everyone from Jaleel White, Ryan Drummond, Jason Griffith, Roger Craig Smith, even Junichi san from the Japanese stuff, Ben Schwartz. So I'm pulling from all of these different things. Every now and then there'll be a line that will make me think, oh, that kind of reminds me of this one, or that kind of reminds me of that one. So it's a lot of mixing and matching in addition to kind of throwing my own sort of spin in there. But just having a lot of familiarity with the character just helped me to feel very comfortable with either drawing influence from others or just saying, hey, you know what? This is my little place to kind of put my own sort of spin on that. And it's been a lot of fun. I've been able to do just all kinds of silly things, all kinds of intense and cool things. I get to explore just so many different emotional places with the character that it's been really, really fulfilling for me.
I know, I thought you did a great job, and from
Well,
what I
thank you so
watched. So,
much. Thank you.
and so Logan, one trait that really stood out to me while watching Sonic Prime, there's a lot of action. So I'd say it's primarily an action show, but it's also a lot of like slapstick. Sonic gets smacked around a lot, gets hit by cars, all kinds of abuse. So that leads a little bit more towards like lightheartedness. So like what, as in your role, what goes into balancing like the overall tone of the show, and like how do you balance it, between selling the stakes and having fun?
Yeah, absolutely. The series is action forward and it features real jeopardy and high stakes. But we also don't want it to be intimidating or overly scary or anything like that. And Sonic is such a lovable, character that the humor and the comedy that he brings to the situations really helps undercut the sentimentality, and it allows you to get away with some of those sentimental messages and feelings that are natural with such a big story. So we found that the balance of high action, real drama, real emotion, and character comedy was the perfect mix for Sonic as a character.
Okay. Well, thank you so much. Just real quick, both of you, favorite Sonic game?
Gotta go with Sonic Adventures 2.
Same thing. Sonic Adventure 2 Battle.
Nice, nice. No, I agree. All right. Thank you both very much for your time.
Thanks
Yeah, thank
guys.
you.
Take care.